Today we're going to take a look at using an image gallery component with data tied to that image gallery component, and then passing the some information about the image displayed to another panel and firing off another panel in a panel card. So let me show you the behavior, and then I'll show you how I did it. So let's take a look at the component in Firefox. So here we go. So the image gallery component is showing this image. You'll notice the image icons here. I'm going to go ahead and bring up a panel. This panel is populated with data from a MySQL backend. This is HTML markup that it's just pulling from a database. And in here we have a button. When we click on this button, it's going to go ahead and fire off the panel. And it's going to pass the information. And here we just passed basically the name of this image back, okay? But you could do whatever you want with it. So I'll show that to you again. The panel comes over and then you go back, and you could, in this case, view on the map. You can go back to info. You can close this guy out. You can move on to the next image. Actually, that was the third image. I don't have any data in there on that. So let me go back a bit. There's some image, there's some data here. Notice the markup looks a little different. The colors is different. We're going to go ahead and click on that button, and we passed in information about image 11 this time. So this is another technique to use the image gallery component with the information panel, and then passing information over to another panel card and firing that off. And so it's really pretty much limited by your imagination. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at how we did that. So we started out with an image gallery component. Let me go ahead and we'll just close this out, and I'm going to bring you into the image gallery component itself. And you'll notice that we're tied to a SQL table. SQL images, the field map this was actually created by Alpha, just using the create the table. So we've got a directory name, a file name, and a description. Now let's go take a look at that. What does that look like? So here I've got these two records in here. Directory name is images. There's the file name for the two different images we were playing with, and then you'll notice in the description there's all this markup. So this is HTML that that I'm putting in here, and I'm setting the font color with an inline style. I'm setting a button class, and on the onClick event we're calling this function open panel 2 when we're passing in an argument, and the argument is in this case the name of the image, but you can do anything you want there. So that's that. Now the function that we're firing off is not in the image gallery component. So in this case, what I did was I defined the JavaScript function that's going to fire when you click on that button. The open panel 2 function, that's in the UX component. So if we were to run that right here, we're going to get an error. I'm just running the image gallery component here, and in this case I don't have that function defined, so when I go ahead and click on it, I get this error here. Okay, so just something to be aware of. I'm going to go ahead and close this guy out. We'll go back to didn't mean to close that out. Go back to the panels with the image gallery component, and in this case I've dropped it in as a embedded component. So we've got a panel navigator here with a panel header on both panel cards, and here you'll see the embedded object, which is the image gallery component. Now let's take a look at where I define the functions. So this is the Open Panel 2 function that is going to be called from that button that's brought up within the information panel within the image gallery component. And you'll notice it's passing in, so we've got a parameter here, so it's passing in an argument, which I call item. And in this case, I just set a global variable that I attach to the dialog object, underbar data from IGC equals item. Now I can reference that anywhere within this application. And then we just do a panel navigate to the next panel. So that's what we're doing right here. So this really comes from Action JavaScript if you want. And you could in fact include Action JavaScript right here in the Open Panel 2 function. Okay, so let's go back to our controls here. And so what happens is when you click on that button, what I do is in Panel Card 2, I've got a free-form container here, and in here we just we have a div called image underbar info in this case. So what I did was on the client side, well, let's go to the Panel Navigator here on the on panel activate complete event. What I did was so we'd go take a look and say, okay, well, what's the active panel? And if the active panel is Panel Card 2, then we're going to go ahead and set the inner HTML of our div name image underbar info to contain the information in the variable underbar data from IGC, and that's how we're displaying it. So you can get to this information and you could do whatever you want with it from that point. Like I said, it's really limited by your imagination. This is a very, very simple sort of demo of that, but I think I've been through all the controls on how that all works. So once again, we'll just take a quick look at it. So in full preview, in Firefox, here we go. We click on the info, we bring up the panel. The panel is populated with HTML markup that's coming from the MySQL table that references that image. Here we can see it's A5 underbar IGC image 10. This could be anything you want. You click on the button, it fires off the panel, and we can see that we've replaced the inner HTML here with the variable that was passed back. So we'll close that out. We'll go back to this image here of the Golden Gate. Bring up the panel. Notice the markup's a little different because we've got this font in red, and obviously we're referencing now image 11. We click on the button. We transition to that panel. We're now referencing the variable has A5 underbar IGC underbar image underbar 11. So I hope this has given you some more ideas on how you could use the image gallery component tied to a data table, and of course with markup now in your description, there's an awful lot of things that you can do.